It was not a good start to the postseason on Friday night at Citi Field for the Mets. The Amazons fell in the opener of their wild card round series with the San Diego Padres, 7-1. A lot of questions before Game 2. So, New York Post Mets beat writer Mike Puma, he's here with me to answer them. Mike, I know it was a long night for you at Citi Field. How you doing?
I'm great, Dexter.
Glad you are well. On to Game 2. This is an elimination game for the Mets. And Mike, Mets Nation, they're not feeling good because for the second straight start, Koei's Max Scherzer has imploded. Why did Mad Max look like Bad Max in Game 1?
Well, he talked about not being able to locate his fastball like he would like. And listen, it's got to be a legitimate concern at this point that there's a physical issue there. He had the oblique in September that forced him to miss a couple of starts. He came back, was strong for 2 starts, but this is a second start in a row in a big game where he hasn't been himself. He had the game in Atlanta last Saturday where he gave up 4 runs in 5 2/3 innings. That included 2 homers. Now, last night to see him give up 4 home runs, it blows your mind a little bit. So you have to think there's something going on there physically with Scherzer that he's not talking about. He's steadfast that it's nothing physical, but it sure looks that way right now.
Sure does look that way. Well, now, going forward, the Mets are going to look towards their other ace, Jacob deGrom, to save their season, and he gets a start in Game 2. So should Mets fans be confident that they'll see a better version of deGrom than they saw last week in Atlanta, where he gave up 3 homers?
Yeah, and it's actually been 2 straight starts for deGrom because, you go back to Oakland a couple weeks ago where he had his worst start in 4 seasons, giving up the 5 earned runs out there. So there is some concern about deGrom, but at the same time, his stuff has pretty much been there. He's still throwing 99, 100 miles an hour, and it was the home run ball that really got him in Atlanta last week. He gave up 3 homers. They were solo homers. So right now, if you're a Mets fan, deGrom, you have to have faith in deGrom because your season's riding on this.
Season is riding on it. deGrom, if Mets fans, at least, are looking for him to deliver a big performance in Game 2. Now, we can't just talk about the pitching, Mike. The Mets hitting, they also did not show up in Game 1. We talked about this the other day, but against Blake Snell in an elimination game, how imperative is it for New York to get runs on the board early?
Yeah, and the Mets have had trouble against relatively speaking, trouble against left-handers this year. They've been very good against right-handed pitching for the most part. Now, Yu Darvish shut him down last night. The thing I'm looking at here is the 2 big guys in your lineup really have to get it going here. And that I mean Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor. They were quiet last night. They were quiet in the Atlanta series. It was a good sign to see Starling Marte come back and get on base a couple of times, create some havoc on the bases, stealing bases. Eduardo Escobar with the home run, he looked pretty good. But you need your big guns going here. You need Alonso and you need Lindor to get it going.
Need those guys to get it going there. So, Mike, before we go, I got to ask you, what's your prediction? What happens in Game 2? Do the Mets get the win and stave off elimination, or is the season over?
Let's put it this way. I think it's going to be a tight game, and one team will win. And that's as far as I'm going.
Thank you, Mike, for going out on a limb there and giving me a great prediction. Tight game, one team will win. Okay, that's all we can get out of Mike Puma. He is the great Mets beat writer for the New York Post. Mike, thank you for your time. Enjoy Game 2. We will talk soon.
Thank you.